Hey guys, how's it going? So today we are doing a foundation review in combination with like an all-day wear test so you guys can see how it lasts, and of course by the title you know what you're getting here. We are talking about the new NARS Velvet Matte Stick Foundation. I am really excited to try this product because I've had some success with NARS products, like skin products in the past, and I really have been liking stick foundations lately. My favorite of the recent releases has been the new Smashbox one, like the dual-ended one with like the contour side on one side and then the foundation on the other. Let me know if you guys want a review of that. I will definitely do that. I also recently did a demo of the new Tarte foundation, the stick foundation. That's really nice as well, although I had some issues filming the makeup tutorial. I did not like the tutorial I'd done, and I felt it put a damper on the whole thing. You feel me, those who do YouTube. But anyways, and I like the Makeup Forever HD one as well. So those are some of the ones I've tried, and I've had a lot of success with them, so I'm excited to try this one out today for you guys and let me know your thoughts. Let me know down below if you have been eyeing this. Leave me a little comment because I definitely was. So I will give you guys a little close-up of the packaging. So this is what we got going on here, if it'll focus. So it's their kind of typical soft matte packaging. Ooh, that was sexual. On one side you have their little touch-up sponge, they call it. It's just like a little kind of stiffer beauty blender type situation, which I wouldn't really use. And then on the other end you have your actual foundation. Let's roll it up to see how much product you get because I'm curious myself. You can see I already used it, I already filmed the demo. So this is how much product you can get at here. So not a ton. It says you get 0.31 ounces, so 9 grams. Not a whole lot for the price. My shade, as you can see here, is medium 1 Punjab. I feel like it fit me really nicely. It's what I normally wear in NARS foundations, but I feel like, let's focus, I feel like it was a tiny bit light. A tiny bit lighter than the liquid, or maybe my Sunless Tan is extra dark this time. I don't know, but I made it work and it was totally fine. So yeah, that's what we got going on. I think the packaging is really nice, kind of standard NARS, really clean and sleek and high-end looking. I printed off some of the stuff from their website, kind of talking about what this foundation is supposed to do. It says the coverage is supposed to be medium. It's for essentially all skin types, sensitive, normal, dry, combination, and oily. The finish is matte, which I can attest to, spoiler alert. It's a one-of-a-kind versatile matte foundation stick with built-in touch-up blender for all-over coverage or touch-ups on the go. So that was what the blender was all about. Let's see, soft matte finish, creamy, blendable texture, layers easily for a medium to buildable coverage. We will be testing that out. Matte rebound powders enhance the glide and comfort of wear while mattifying the look of the skin. Provides extreme flexibility and elasticity to help prevent creasing by adapting to movement without settling into lines or wrinkles. Of course, we'll be testing that as well. Talks about antioxidants, blah blah blah, helping improve the appearance of smoothness and evenness. Can be applied multiple ways. We'll be testing that as well. I did, as I said before, already film a demo and first impression on it, so I won't talk about that yet, but I will give you guys a little bit of background on my skin. I do have combination skin. I have been quite oily in my T-zone lately, whereas the lower half of my face is quite dry. I have the most texture there. I have kind of larger pores, a little bit of fine line action here. I mean, I am over 30, so that's just pretty normal. And then I've been breaking out a little bit, so I have some scarring, I have a couple pimples, so that's what we got. You guys will see all that. So yeah, if you're watching this and you have really dry skin, just kind of pay attention how the foundation acts in this area. If you're really oily, don't mind what's happening down here because that really won't be the same for you most likely. So yeah, that's my background. I do think it's, as annoying as it is to have combo skin, it's a good kind of base for foundation reviews because you guys do get to see kind of how it acts almost on all skin types. There's really no normal on my face, to be totally honest. So there's that, but yeah. Do I have anything else to say there? Before we get into the demo, I would love it if you guys will give this video a thumbs up if you like foundation reviews and you find them helpful when you're shopping for new foundations and getting reviews from people you trust, and that helps me out very much. So if you do that, that would be awesome. And then of course, please subscribe to my channel if you're not a subscriber already. I would love to have you very, very much. I'm also realizing I forgot to put false eyelashes on. Do I just roll with it at this point? My lash extensions are like falling off, so I'm balding a little bit, looking a little spotty. Anyway, I'm cool with it if you are. So yeah, that's kind of the background. I will be wearing this foundation all day or until things go haywire. Generally, I try to wear it for about 10 hours and I will do check-ins throughout the day so you guys can see how it wears. Of course, I'm going to be extra picky, kind of focusing on things, trying to give you guys as much information as I can in one day. Wearing it for the very first time, so you guys know if it's something that you would be willing to try. Of course, what's great about Sephora, because Sephora carries this, is that they're so great with returns. So of course you can always try things for yourself if you see this and think that it might be for you, but you're a little bit on the fence, and you can just return it if it doesn't work for you. So I really like that. I have issues returning things to Ulta. I don't know, I feel like they're just always weird every single time. I don't know if you guys have experienced that as well, but I love when things are carried in Sephora because it's just a better experience. And I'm a person who will return. Like, if I don't like something, give me my money. Give it back. Give it back. So I think that's all the background that I have for you guys. If you would like to see the demo and my all-day review, then please keep watching. Alright you guys, so we are starting with the bare face. As you can see, my skin has definitely been better. It doesn't look too bad actually, but I do have some kind of hormonal breakouts. Actually one right here and one right here, just two, so it's not a big deal. But then I have some like scarring, some purple marks on my cheek, which, you know, I'm not super happy about, but it's a good kind of foundation to test foundation coverage, right? Because there is some unevenness there, so hey, I do what I can, you know? My face is clean and I did apply moisturizer. I used the Sephora, this is from their men's line actually, their 8-hour mattifying, what is it, moisturizing fluid, there we go. I really like this stuff when I'm extra oily. My oil levels will sort of fluctuate. I am combo, so I do get very kind of dry down here, but man, like right here can get so bleh. And that's kind of what I'm going through right now. So I applied this and then I'm just using a little bit of the Makeup Forever smoothing primer. I really like this stuff. I actually don't use it a whole lot because generally I kind of wear the Estee Lauder Double Wear, and I don't know, honestly I feel like sometimes that one works better on me with just kind of like a nice moisturizing primer. So anyways, I like to use this one when I'm using more cream-based products like stick foundation, for example, because I do find that sometimes they can emphasize pore size and things like that, which isn't really something I care too much about. I mean, I'm fine with skin looking like skin, but you don't want your pores to look like craters, right? Do you hear cats running around? I'm sorry. So anyways, that's what we got going on. So I'm going to start applying and demoing the product here for you. I was reading some of the information that they have about this online on the Sephora website actually, and what it did say is that the foundation can be applied multiple ways, either with fingertips, directly from the stick, which I feel like I would do that anyway, or with the included removable touch-up blender. I probably showed this in the intro again, but the foundation stick here, I'll get you zoomed in, has a little beauty blender situation on the end, kind of built in. I think that's kind of silly. I wouldn't use that to apply it, but they do kind of market this as a touch-up blender. So when you're on the go, if you want to use something, and I think that's kind of okay. I still would probably just use my fingers, but whatever. I wouldn't use it to apply all over the face, but since it did kind of suggest a sponge situation, I am going to try applying it with a beauty blender in some spots. I'll try using my fingers, see what I think, and then I will also use a foundation brush. So I am going to kind of try everything because I know that, at least in my experience, stick foundations can be a little bit finicky, and it really does kind of depend on the texture of your skin and your skin type. I feel like what's going to work best. So I'm going to see what works best for me, and hopefully I'll have an answer. Cats! Okay, so the shade I got is medium 1 Punjab, and I think it's gonna work with me. This is my shade in the Sheer Glow, or was my shade. I don't currently own it any longer because my skin's not dry and I just really don't like how it wears. I could probably wear it on like the lower half of my face, but honestly, I'm just not a fan of using a bunch of different foundations in one look. I'm too lazy for that. So let's get applying this. I'm just gonna do it section by section, and I think I'm gonna start by trying my fingers and we'll see what the deal is. Yeah, there we go. It looks like it has a decent amount of pigment, but when I'm blending it out with my fingers, it does seem like I lose some, but the texture looks really natural. So there's that, especially for being a matte finish. It definitely mattified, and it's not, it's settling. I have a tiny bit of like, almost like a scab over a blemish here, and it kind of settled around that a little bit, but I don't know what product wouldn't, so I don't know. That's okay, but it doesn't seem like a lot of coverage. Do you guys see that? You can still see, oh god, this is not a good angle for me. You can still see quite a few spots and things, which sometimes is totally fine. I mean, to be totally honest, I'm not always someone who wears a good full coverage foundation, but I feel like generally sticks are, so we'll see. It doesn't claim to be a full coverage foundation. It claims to be medium, so I have to sneeze. So maybe this is all we can get. I'll probably try to build it up later, but let's try with the Beauty Blender on the other side. Here, I'll just do 3 lines just to kind of keep it even, and then my Beauty Blender is already wet. And let's just tap it out. Is there an alarm going off? Okay, so that actually blended out really, really nicely. I didn't put anything really in the center of my face yet. I'm just kind of trying different application techniques. It almost looks more natural. So I'm preferring this so far over the fingers. So now let's try, well, let's maybe try down here where I have some texture. I was going to try my forehead, but I feel like that's an unfair advantage for the brush because there's really nothing going on up there. So let's try the brush now and see what we got going on. P.S. This is the Wayne Goss number 13 foundation brush. It's really nice. Now, I'm already seeing that when I'm applying it with a brush, it doesn't seem to be kind of sinking into the skin. It's kind of sitting on top. So already I'm not liking a brush at all. My nose, it was okay, but in areas where I have more texture, like my upper lip and my chin, I'll give you guys a close-up real quick because I will try to fix that. Here, let me zoom in. Okay, let me try to turn the brightness down so we can see a little bit of the texture better. Do you guys see? You can still see all of the, it looks kind of crusty. You see that? And obviously with the lights not so dim, it is going to look a little bit better than this, but still, I kind of want to give you guys an idea, so I'm going to try and fix that. No to a brush. See, it's already better when I go over it once with the Beauty Blender. It's still a little bit heavy right here. That could just be because that's what it would have been with the Beauty Blender on its own as well in areas of higher texture, which my chin is always like that. So let's apply it to the forehead. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Beauty Blender because that is what I'm liking the best. Okay, so there you have it. This is one layer of foundation. I feel like it's a decent layer too. I feel like I put a decent amount of product on my face, so I think it actually looks really, really nice. The place I'm not crazy about is my chin and lip area where I have more texture, but it seems to be doing okay where my pores are concerned. Granted, I do have a smoothing primer on. Coverage wise, I feel like a lot of times a lot of foundations say they're medium coverage, but you can really get a nice full coverage out of them with one layer. That's not really what I'm seeing. At least not over blemishes and acne scarring. I can still really see everything underneath. They are kind of minimized, so there's that, and that's pretty nice. But if this builds up, that could be totally fine. Like if I could build it up in areas to a full coverage, which we'll test now, then I'm totally fine with that. So let's just put a little bit where we have blemishes. I kind of got a little bit going on in the jaw area. I feel like it might be a mistake to put more on my chin, but we're gonna roll with it. And just so it's even, I'll put some more over here. Sound good? Okay, so I was definitely able to build it up a little bit more. I would probably still consider this the full coverage right now, but not super full coverage. I mean, you can still see redness here, you can still see a little bit here, you can still see a little bit of a redness on that blemish, so maybe this is something where you want to go in again, spot conceal or color correct before you use it if you are someone who has, you know, some discoloration on your face for any reason. It doesn't, it caked up a little bit. It doesn't look super heavy or anything. Nothing to where I would really dock it points at this point in the game. Because sometimes I feel like foundations can look better over time. Once they kind of dry down and once your kind of skin starts to create oils and it starts to kind of meld together nicely. But it looks a little bit heavier in those areas where I did apply 2 layers. So something to note. Sorry, I just wiped all the foundation off my lips and put a little bit of a balm. You're looking kind of crusty. Okay, so overall right now I think it looks pretty nice. The coverage is pretty decent. I got it almost to a full, like a medium full coverage. Texture, I wouldn't say my skin looks any smoother. And in my chin area, I'm really not loving how it looks. I can kind of see, I'll give you guys a close-up of what my skin looks like here in a moment after I'm done rambling, with all the lights turned down as I normally do, so you guys can actually see the texture. Not loving how it looks there. Who knows, that could change. And I'm also noticing a tiny bit of settlings in these laugh lines, and mine aren't even very pronounced, so that's not a good sign. Okay, so I know this is a little dark, but I want you guys to see what everything looks. This is kind of the biggest problem I'm noticing. I hope it picks up. It's kind of hard to tell on my monitor if it is or not. You can see a little bit of settling in my laugh line here. Let's just make sure I'm focused. Am I focused? And here's a decent shot of my pores, I feel like. So they definitely don't look super smooth. Oh, that's it on my chin. Gross. And then this is the forehead so far. My forehead's decently smooth, but you can see that pimple still. You see that? Like, that really isn't covered up a whole lot. Oh, and these brows. Hey guys, how's it going? So I just got done filming my intro. Let's see, it's about 1:30 right now, and when I was done applying my foundation at the beginning of the day, it was 10:30, just right around 10:30. So 3 hours? Well, it's hard math. As you can see, I caved and put lashes on. I'm so annoying. Anyways, we're not quite at the halfway point, but since I'm done, I wanted to kind of jump in and talk about, just in case anything goes south, what my thoughts were after I finished my makeup. So I did, of course, apply concealer under my eyes. I used the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. I've really been liking this as long as you use like a sponge and a very light hand. So that's what I have under my eyes, and I did set that with the MAC Invisible Setting Powder. I've been liking this lately. It's a tiny bit on the dry side, but it is really light, so I feel like my under eyes don't look too much like ball sacks. And then I used a little blush. I used the ColourPop Duo. I don't know the name of this. I'll show it to you guys. I am going to be putting this in my favorites, but I cannot figure out the name because it's nowhere in the box. So I've been liking this. This is the highlight and then the blush. Anyways, that's what I used, and then some bronzer. And after I put all the powders on, and granted I don't use a ton, I really don't, and the finish was already really matte. Honestly, I don't think it needed to be set, the product, to kind of mattify and set down. But I had done it anyways to see if it would help with the smoothing, and it did a little bit. It looks a little bit more matte even. Definitely pretty smooth. I feel like it looks good with all the bright lights and on camera and stuff like that. I can only see my tiny monitor right now, so that could change as soon as I kind of bring it onto my computer and see it in a larger scale. But so far I think it looks pretty good. It looks good to the naked eye, like in my mirror. A little heavy, not super heavy, nothing to where I would be opposed to wearing it or to where it turns me off a lot. But definitely not skin-like. This isn't a product, at least on me, on my skin, that looks extremely natural. It's definitely something that, you know, I would pull out only if I was wearing like a fuller face of makeup. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's where we're at right now. This is how it's looking. Of course, I'll give you a quick close-up, but not much has changed. Alright, so this is what we got going on here. You can see the texture. It still looks really matte. Pretty nice. Let me try and figure out. There's my forehead again. Everything's matte. It's been a few hours, so this isn't really bad, but you can see it's kind of heavy. Let me get closer, see if it'll focus if I'm really close up. See, like around the nose, it's just a little bit heavy. You can see the texture on my upper lip. Let's get the chin again. You see that there? Alright, you guys, so it is 4:30. I wanted to jump back on because I just got back from Target. I was running errands, and while I was in there, my face started to feel really dry. You know, it started to feel tight and everything kind of felt heavy. This started about an hour after my last check-in. So I got back out to my car after I was done running errands and checked, and it looks cakey. Like, it looks heavy. It feels heavier now. It's definitely not the worst I've ever seen, but it's almost like it's getting more and more matte as the day goes on. I mean, I really hardly see any shine coming through. You can probably see a little bit because of these lights, but I can tell that it's not really a whole lot of my own, my skin's own natural oils. So I'm just really not liking it on my skin right now for me. It's not too bad in my more oily areas. Right here it is kind of nice that it's keeping me matte, but it feels uncomfortable. Like when I scrunch up my head, I can feel it there, and I really don't like that, especially because I do know that there are a lot of other matte foundations that don't do that to me. I don't love feeling a ton of cake on my face. I know some people are totally fine with that, and I totally respect that. We all have our own preferences, but this just is not suiting me very nicely. It said at the beginning, as I talked about the claims of the foundation, it said it was great for all skin types. I would say dry skin, you are probably not going to like this. Of course, do your due diligence as a consumer and check out other reviews if you are, you know, in the process of deciding whether or not this is going to be right for you. I would definitely check some other people, maybe see if they felt differently. Maybe it has more to do with like the texture of my skin or something. I'm not really sure, but it's just not vibing with me. I'm not a fan. I'm gonna keep it on. I'm editing my video right now, like slowly as the clips keep coming in, so I'm going to keep it on for a little bit longer, but honestly, like, in my mind, I'm like itching to get it off. So right now we're at the, what is that, 4:30? Are we at the 6-hour mark? It's not a very long time, and 2 hours ago is when I felt that I like really wanted to wash it off. So far not so great. It's definitely not my favorite. But just a quick check-in. I wanted to share that with you. I'll give you a really brief close-up again, and I'll check back and we'll kind of give my thoughts, and maybe some recommendations that I would probably do instead of this, because spoiler alert, I'm probably not gonna give it a thumbs up. Alright, you guys, we made it to about 6:30. So it's been about 8 hours. I've been wearing this product for that long. I will comment on the shine. It is really not getting greasy at all. You guys saw my last check-in though with how cakey it was. And honestly, it's bothering me so bad wearing it that I just have to get it off my face. It almost feels like I'm wearing Halloween makeup, like, or a face mask even. It's exaggerating a little bit, but it feels really uncomfortably heavy. So I literally want to wash it off before I go to dinner. So I wanted to kind of give a final check-in because I literally can't wait to take it off my face. If you look close up, it looks like it's just sitting there, you know, sitting on top of my skin. It has kind of a weird finish. It's breaking up a little bit around my nose, and a little bit on my chin, but it was never really nice and smooth there in the first place. But it doesn't look like it's breaking up because of any oil. It's not getting very greasy. So final thoughts, I'm not a fan. I probably won't be using this again. For me, it didn't work well for me. I would say that if you have dry skin, you're probably not going to like this at all, even though it says it's okay for dry skin, maybe unless you do a really kind of thin layer. But then that being said, I just feel like there are better foundations than this one for dry skin, so I wouldn't go there. I would say maybe if you're really oily, this may be something that you could possibly try, but before you do jump ahead, if you are like in the research process, I would just kind of continue to see other people's opinions. Maybe it just didn't work for me and everything that I have going on, but yeah, I've gotta get it off. I'm looking like in my vanity mirror and it doesn't look so bad from far away. Like, it really doesn't. This wouldn't be something that would just ruin my night if I were to wear it out and it started, you know, getting a little bit cakey or whatever, but, you know, who stays 3 feet away? I wish everyone would. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video helpful, and as I said before, give it a thumbs up if you did. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not a subscriber already. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!